Good afternoon, everybody. It's Marcia from Oils and Wellness with Marcia. And today, the next person I'm going to be talking about from the book I'm reading that was a co-author is Jami, Jami. She didn't give her last name, but her title is Bright Lights and Big Dreams. So let's see what she had to say. My knees were shaking. I could feel the tears welling up in my eyes. I had sweat beading up on my forehead. In front of me was a microphone. I looked in the audience, searching for a friendly face to calm my nerves, only to be blinded by the stage lights looking back at me. I attempted to speak, but nothing came out. What was I thinking? I said to myself. Why did you volunteer to come up on stage? I glanced down. I was holding the key of my Oola life, and it terrified me. The little orange sticker read, "My children need to move out," written on my own handwriting. The process that led me to that moment on stage had started a couple days before. A close friend invited me to attend Oola Plaza. I didn't know what to expect, except that my friend said it was a life-changing, and I desperately needed some changes in my life. With nervous anticipation, for 2 days I sat, listened, and wrote. My struggle began when Dr. Troy and Dr. Dave, the authors of this book, talked about dreaming big in the 7 keys areas of life. I remember my mom saying, "If you don't dream, you won't be disappointed." I lived most of my life with that limited mindset. Rooted by the negative seeds planted so long ago, it was a challenge that weakened to dream at all. It was a challenge that weakened to dream at all. Dreaming of that I wanted for my family was especially difficult. Struggling, I asked Dr. Troy for help, and I said to him, I have 2 adult children living at home. Before I finished my sentence, he looked me in the eyes and asked, "Is that good for you? Is that good for them?" Then he walked away. Of course, I knew the answer before he made me confront them. No and no. I knew that in order to have a family life of my dreams, I needed my adult children to move out. At 28 and 29, I knew it was time for my children to take control of their own lives, and they couldn't do that living with me. I cried the rest of the weekend. Although I knew it was the right thing for me, my kids, and my marriage, I felt like I was committing relationship suicide. My daughter and her 4 kids had been with us for 3 years. In many ways, I felt like I needed them to as much as they needed me. My son, on the other hand, had been through an unexpected divorce and was now living with us, still recovering. He and his 2 children. I worried they would both be so angry when I asked them to move out, and I wouldn't see them or my grandkids again. But our house was so overfull, and it was affecting our marriage. We dreaded having a conversation with them. It was all I could do thinking about it. One day I decided that today is the day. I set my kids down and apologized for allowing them to stay with me for as long as I had. I explained that I was enabling them to keep them from the true purpose of their lives. I took a deep breath and told them they had to move out by the first of the year. My son told me exactly how he felt and stormed out of the room. My daughter said nothing, which was almost more painful. The next few days and weeks, honestly months, were difficult. My son found a place to live right away with a stranger. It wasn't the best solution, but he was on his own. He was working 2 jobs, spending time with his kids, and sleeping when he could. He ended up in the hospital for a week because of an infection he had made worse with his diabetes being out of control. As a caring mom, I felt terribly guilty. I felt like it was my fault that he was living like this. It was my fault his diabetes was out of control. On and on. I beat myself up and questioned my decision. Because he was in the hospital, he lost pay from both jobs, and his life began to spiral out of control. He lost his car. He was kicked out of his apartment. I hated watching him go through all this. He spent countless nights sleeping at friends' homes and showering at the gym. Many times he fell asleep at the gym, waking up hours later because he was so exhausted. It was months before he could get a place of his own and start getting his life back on track. My daughter made plans to move out the first of the year. She rallied to finish college while living with us, and she became focused applying for jobs and looking for a place to live. Shortly after moving out, she and her husband reconciled. A year later, they welcomed their 5th child. They now have they live 700 miles away from us. Although heart-wrenching at times, she is happy. And that makes me happy. After getting settled into our new home, my daughter told me that what I had done was the right thing. She just needed a little push to reconnect her purpose for her own life. In April, I had a chance to take my son to Ula Plaza. He set goals and dreams for his life. I watched him take steps toward reaching his goals and learned new things about himself. It's not perfect, but it's progress. I know he feels better about himself, and he has an apartment now that his name is on the lease, and it's a safe place for him and his kids. He's working 3 jobs right now so he can reach the goals to set his Ula Palazzo. I'm proud of him. It's been just over a year since standing on the stage with the dream for my family held tight in my hand. It hasn't all been easy, but it's been worth it. Through it all, my letting go of my children finding their path, we are still family. Although the challenges kept me going, we keep fighting. My mom was wrong. Dreams can come true, and I won't be disappointed. Every day, you'll be faced with decisions and challenges that will affect your future of your family. Deciding to love your family well is one decision you can make today and every day. Choose now to love those in your inner circle in a way that empowers and not enables. But what if your family life is different than what you planned? And that's what I had for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please smash the like button. Comment any questions you might have over what I read. And tomorrow I'll be reading Marcy Lyons, and her title is My Fairy Tale Life. So I guess I'll let you guys go for today, and I'll see you tomorrow, and we will continue reading. Don't forget to comment your questions. Ta-ta for now. Love you guys.